My name is Cassie Chandler, and I'm a business advisor with the Alabama Small Business Development Center at Jacksonville State University. I'd like to talk to you about business continuity. I often talk to my clients about the importance of business planning, and a very critical part of that process is business continuity planning. This type of planning considers the means necessary to keep the business running during times of disaster or business interruption. This includes continuing operations, retaining customers, paying creditors, and upholding the reputation of the business. There are several steps to business continuity planning. First, the business should assess its functions, resources, and financial position. This includes determining the essential functions, which are the critical processes that must continue in order for the business to maintain operations. The business must also identify its revenue streams, consider all stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, and investors, and take into account resources such as assets and facilities. Most importantly, a business should consider the risks and determine their potential impact on the business. Next, a business should mitigate these risks or take actions to limit their impact. This includes diversifying suppliers, having multiple revenue streams, backing up company and financial data, obtaining appropriate insurance coverage, and setting aside a cash reserve fund. This is important because working capital is crucial in the wake of a disaster or interruption. All of these efforts should be documented in a plan, the business continuity plan. It should also include procedures for communications, such as contact information for employees, suppliers, customers, financial institutions, and other important stakeholders. In addition, the plan should have procedures for emergency response and evacuation. It should also document a leadership structure during an emergency and how responsibilities will be delegated. Finally, the plan should include any manual workarounds to support essential functions, as well as plans for IT recovery and relocation in case these become necessary. In order for the plan to remain relevant and effective, it must be tested. Employees should have knowledge of the plans and receive training in the areas for which they will be responsible during an emergency. Exercises and drills should be performed to test the plan. The results of these exercises should be documented afterward. The business will be able to determine things that went well and things that need to be improved. The plan should be updated with any necessary revisions after exercises and drills. It should be reviewed regularly to ensure that the information is accurate. In order to properly assess risks, a business should determine potential hazards. This step is called hazard identification. Hazards are events such as natural disasters, fires, or power outages. Currently, the hazard that we're facing daily is a pandemic disease, COVID-19. Once the individual hazards are identified, both the probability and magnitude are determined for each hazard, how likely the hazard is to occur, and if so, how great its potential impact. The next step is to determine which assets are at risk, the vulnerability assessment. All assets should be considered. This includes the people, places, and things that make up the business, as well as the supply chain, IT, and even the reputation of the business. The final step is impact analysis, determining the possible impacts on the business. Potential impacts include casualties, property damage, and financial loss, among many others. As time passes and the business changes, risks change too. This is why it's important to maintain and update the plan regularly. It's helpful to get employees involved. They can collaborate in the planning process and have some ownership in the plan. Because employees and suppliers can change, it's important to make sure that current contact information is updated and verified. Regularly conduct continuity training and exercises, and remember that the plan is a living document. It's not written to be stored in a binder on a shelf. Taking business continuity planning one step further, we have business continuity management. This is the process of keeping the business actively engaged in the continuity mindset. Employees should be trained to embrace a culture of preparedness. Proper business continuity management allows the stakeholders of a business to achieve a constant state of readiness to endure challenges and uncertainty.